I would like to thank one of my followers, Odd Rocker One, for sending me this story. And let me tell you something right now. It is, excuse me, it is stories like this that bring new life to my channel. And I hope y'all are in for a bumpy ride because I am prepared to go in on this train wreck trailer trash whore known as Lena Dunham. Now y'all already know, if y'all follow me and have been following my community tab, I said I have an alter ego when I get ready to go on a rant, and I call him Taurean Rage. So I have turned off Taurean Rain and turned on Taurean Rage because I'm about to go in on this bitch, and she deserves every bit of it. But before I go in, let me just set the scene. So in this picture, you have on the left Casper, Lena Dunham, and on the right is Aurora Perrineau. Now, y'all may not know who she is unless you follow Harvey and his channel because he's talked about her before. But Aurora Perrineau is the daughter of Harold Perrineau. Harold Perrineau he's best known for being in the Best Man films, Best Man and the Best Man Holiday, but he's also was in The Matrix Reloaded and The Matrix Revolutions. He's done some other films, but those are the ones right there that really stick out to me the most. Over a year ago, Aurora Perrineau came out and said that the writer for the show Girls, in which Lena Dunham was on, had sexually assaulted her. Basically, he raped her when she was 17, and that was back in 2012. At the time, he was 35. So Aurora came out, and that was at the time when Me Too was really kicking up steam, and it was at this point that many women, especially black women, should have known that Me Too was not for them. Because Aurora Perrineau came out and said that this guy, who was the writer for the show Girls, which was on HBO, which I'm glad that shit is canceled, because I'm like, when people was talking about that show Girls, they was like, wow, so it's a show called Girls and it takes place in New York, and they only highlighting and talking about white women, as if there aren't other races of women that live in that state. But anyway, she came out and said that he sexually assaulted her, raped her when she was 17 without her consent. And then that's when Lena Dunham and her old pig, fat, sloppy looking ass, because this chick is just not attractive at all. She came out and she defended the writer of the show, because you know he writes for the show, so that was her remaining on code, and she knew that if he was to go down for this, then it could mess up whatever flow that she had going. But I'm trying to figure out, was the show even still on at the time when Aurora came out about this? So Lena Dunham came out and she defended him, and I'm not surprised that she did, because it said that she was friends with the guy, so she knew him, or at least she thought she did. She even went and doubled down and was trying to say that there wasn't any evidence to back up the claim that Aurora was making. So basically she was trying to say that Aurora Perrineau was lying. Now mind you, in this whole Me Too thing, all these white women came out of the woodworks and was throwing all these allegations left and right. Like, it seemed like every time you blinked, it was a new allegation. Every time you breathed, it was a new accuser. Lena Dunham didn't say anything about them, but the minute that Aurora Perrineau, even though you can look at her and tell that she's quote unquote biracial, she immediately was saying that she was lying. The quote unquote black or mixed chick could not possibly be telling the truth that this white man would ever take advantage of her. But here's the kicker. Lena Dunham has come out over a whole year later, as if it really mattered, and wrote this long ass lengthy letter, in which I'm not reading because I couldn't find it and didn't want to find it if it could be found. That shit could be sitting right there in a fucking field where all the crops are dead and the only thing that stands out is her letter, and I still wouldn't go out there in that dead crop and read it. And said that she apologizes, in so many words, for not believing what Aurora Perrineau said. This chick actually lied and said there was no evidence that could back up her claim, when she didn't know if there was any evidence to begin with. So she wasn't even trying to hear Aurora Perrineau's side of the story. She just automatically assumed that this woman was lying. Well, at the time she was a minor. She was 17 and he was 35. So technically that's considered statutory rape. According to the article I was reading, it said that Aurora said that she woke up in his bed naked and he was on top of her and she did not consent to him to giving her any type of sexual pleasures. And she was 17. And the consent age, I believe, is 18. Last time I checked. Now, some states differ. Some states are the consent age is as low as 16. And I'm like, they keep lowering the consent age, but we know why that is. We know why it is. But the point of the matter is, Lena Dunham did not believe her because this chick, in her eyes, is not white. She's only going to defend those who looks like her. And Lena Dunham had the nerve to talk about she was a victim of sexual assault and sexism. Listen, this is the same chick, and I'm going to give y'all a reminder in case y'all forgot. This is the same woman that wrote in her book that she sexually assaulted her sister by fingering her, by sticking her fingers in her sister's vagina for sexual pleasures. She wrote that in her book. And nothing happened to her. It didn't put a stall in her career. None of that. And I'm like, I know many people have read that story, but they try to downplay it as if it was nothing. This is the same chick that tried to give sexual advances subliminally to Odell Beckham at some kind. I think it was the Met Gala event a couple years ago, and got mad because he didn't respond to her. Mind you, the chick was dressed up like a dude. She was wearing a tux. And on top of that, she looks like a man and is built like one. And if I have to see that ugly ass back alley LA tattoo again, I'm gonna vomit. Like, everything about this woman is just poisonous. It's a shame that she even still is relevant to an extent. But I can't wait for the day when she finally gets her comeuppance, because it's well deserved. She's definitely one of them. I can't stand her or her sidekick, Amy Schumer. And there was a video I was going to do about Amy Schumer, but I decided to scale back on that. And the video I was going to talk about was when she was having issues getting pregnant. I said I could have really went in on that, but I remember I did a video about Amy Schumer before when she was talking about that men outside of white men were some of the most sexual deviance, something to that effect. It was on my old channel, and that video went viral. It got over 100,000 views, and I think they did something to my channel then that slowed down the views after that video went up. But then eventually it got back on track, and it probably got back to her. And I had some people trying to cape for her, most likely white trolls who were doing it. But she dealing with some internal stuff right now where she's having trouble getting pregnant. In case y'all didn't know, y'all can go look that up. It happened. I think that story came out maybe a couple months ago. But I cannot stand Lena Dunham. And Kimberly Frazier, if you're out there listening, hopefully. Sorry to step away right quick. But anyway, back to her. Kimberly Frazier, if you out there listening, please go in on this refrigerator built bitch. I would greatly appreciate it. And I will listen to every second of your roast. Harvey, if you're out there listening, please go in on this igloo built heifer, because I will listen to every second of what you have to say. The reason why I mention those two is because I know those two are going to go in on her in a way that no one else will, because they have problems and issues with her just like I and a few others do as well. But this is also a message out there to black women. These white women do not like you. This whole Me Too thing was hijacked by them so they could curb their enthusiasm, help them. That was a leg up for them. They hijack just like their men. Sometimes they do it just as good as they do. Who do you think they get their lessons from? They give birth to them, they go out into the world, they do something, they retrieve it, and they bring it back to them, and they double down on whatever they learned. Remember last year when Lupita Nyong'o had talked about how Harvey Weinstein had sexually assaulted her, and that one quickly died. Like, it came and went like the Flash. But as for Lena Dunham, I can't stand this fugly bitch. Fuck her. And the guy, whoever did that to Aurora Perrineau, fuck him too. Y'all let me know what you think down in the comments. Like, share, subscribe. The links will be in the description. I'll talk to you in the next one.